episode 113, and I got Bellator Blake Perry on my show once again. Blake, welcome back, man. I am like, you look fantastic, and I've missed you.
Right back at you, man. Thanks for having me. I'm always super stoked, man. So I appreciate you having me, dude.
Since I have brought you aboard my platinum yacht, you've kind of become like a celebrity of sorts, right? And I have to ask, like, when I bring people onto the platinum yacht, Blake, it's a tough life to get used to, right? Like, we're talking about the caviar champagne lifestyle. Like my toilet water is Pellegrino. Like I don't use peasant water. We use sparkling water in the toilets.
They make water that's not sparkling.
Yeah, it's peasant water. Like that. Yeah, I know. Really? It's absurd. It's absurd. So I have to ask, just how has your life changed? And like, now that you're part of like, my royal entourage, can you describe for the good people out there just how life-changing and how amazing it's been?
Yeah, man, I was kind of aimless before you had me on your show, and things are just different now. My more hair started growing back. All kinds of things. I'm musically talented now. I know how to play instruments that I never even practiced. Just all kinds of stuff, man.
And I know that Leo DiCaprio is trying to like set it up, that whole movie deal with you. But he's kind of being a little cheap. We're on a 10 million, and like we're not settling for anything less. That's just for a cameo appearance. If we are gonna do stuff, like the price is like quadruple.
Right. Well, decap. That's what I call him. I think you called him Leonardo, but
no, I call him bitch because that's what he is. He's a bitch to me. Like, he doesn't tell us what to do, that pretty boy.
Right.
You know what? Like, I want to fight Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know why. I like him. And that leads me to my next question. I think you and I should have a tag team. I'll fight the celebrity, and I want to fight Leo DiCaprio. I don't know why. I just want to fight him. And and then you could fight your dude, the Cooper guy that we'll talk to. And I think we could like come up with like a tag team special move of some kind, like a super kick. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure all of them would be down, dude.
I'll defer to you on how we're going to link that up. I had to, before we went live, I put a story out on Instagram and I was like soliciting questions from people. And there are a couple questions that we got. And I can imagine you probably know who's asking some of these questions, but we'll keep it mysterious. Okay. One person wants to know about your ninja shoes, and they want you to explain what's up with that. I don't know what that means, so you're gonna have to like explain it to me.
All right. So the bottom of my feet have these like pretty ridiculous like pieces of skin missing and like calluses just from like training, right?
Sure.
And a way that when that happens, I just tape my feet up like excessively to the point that it's almost like I'm wearing like toeless white shoes, like old school ninjas in movies.
Nice.
And I have to do that for a few days until the skin grows back, and then I'm good. But yeah, usually about like probably once a year or so, I have to break out the ninja shoes.
Hey, is it true that I've always kind of been curious to know, and I heard Dana White talk about it not that long ago, and he was basically like, the canvas is like a rough texture. He's like that. It's not like a pleasant feeling to like be on that canvas at all, especially with like your face getting mashed up in it. Is it like coarse, like sandpaper?
Yeah, dude. There's some that's almost like carpet, like almost. Ugh. Like, yeah, right. Luckily it's not like that at our gym, but I think I just have kind of bitch feet, to be honest. Like, because there's a ton of people that train there and their feet are fine.
Oh, well,
it's definitely a me thing, but but I've
the ninja
adapted
shoes.
The craft,
I like it.
Making ninja shoes, and I'm good in a couple of days, so.
The other question is, this is another one. They want to know the whole nickname, the Nature Boy. What is that, and where does it come from? You have a nickname, and you didn't tell me?
Dude, I I think it just kind of came about. The guys at the gym messed with me and called me that because, all right, so one day there was a bat flying around the gym, and it was just kind of swooping around. Everyone was freaking out, and I was like, I think I got it. Like I think I can get him out. So I just kind of like crawled up to it all quietly, and then snatched it with my hand, and it was just kind of like wiggling around a little bit, and then I went out back and let it go. And everyone was kind of like messing with me, like, oh, we're gonna start calling you Nature Boy because like the animals come to you like messing around. And literally like last week in my house, I had to catch another bat. Like in my house, there was like Selena came in and was like, there's a bat in the house. And I had to go in and snatch it. I didn't do it with my bare hands this time. I had like Walmart bags.
Got it.
And I had to let it go. But I have video of that too. I can send you, man.
That's so should we like call you Ace?
Ace.
Like I think that would be pretty cool. But we have to figure out something. Because Blake Perry, like I told you, that sounds like an American Gladiator contestant. Like we need to like spice that up a little bit. Like
right.
I don't know. Like you're gonna have to figure something out before the fight. I like Nature Boy though, but put it in the front. Nature Boy Blake Perry. Okay. I like that.
All right.
I think you should roll with it. Blake, on a serious note, I did want to ask you about your bout from October 2021. You were on the same card as my guy Keanu Moyer, who headlined that fight. Knowing you, like you're the type of guy that I think you're a little too modest about your own skills. You're just like, I'm not really that great of a striker. I'm more of a grappler, more of a wrestler. But when I watched your fight, you could have fooled me because your striking looked excellent to me. I liked how you set up your striking to level change. Everything just looked really crisp. And like, can you kind of walk me through like how you set that up and you took a guy out of there? Big scary guy that you took out of there. I was really impressed by how you were able to do that.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, the dude, his name's Walter Shaw, super tough dude out of Team Alpha Male. And he's newer, I think, to fighting too. And he stepped up and he was a monster opponent. So I was super stoked. So props to him, man. But yeah, dude, same kind of thing. It was just one of those things where it was like definitely an MMA strike. It's not like a real slick boxing move or slick kickboxing move. It was open because I kind of was going for a takedown, and I think he kind of was defending the takedown, so might have just dropped his hands for that little second. And that's just one of those crazy things that happens. It honestly just kind of happened to hit in the right spot, and it was there, man. Could happen to anyone at any time, and it does. That's why there's so many crazy knockouts in MMA compared to like boxing. Because in boxing, you're worried about getting punched, right?
Sure.
Where in MMA, I would say more than half of the knockouts that happen in MMA is because your hands drop for a second when you're thinking about a kick or you're thinking about a takedown, and your chin's just open and shit connects with those little 4-ounce gloves. And friggin', I mean, anybody can knock anyone. Like genuinely, that just crazy shit happens,
So back in high school, like your standard boxing glove is what, 16 ounces?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So I was like fucking around in the garage with one of my boys. Like I had one boxing glove and he had the other, and we were taking turns, like, bashing each other. Dude, he popped me in the fucking mouth with one of those things. And Jesus Christ, like that hurts a lot. And and that's a boxing glove. Like an MMA glove, that's completely different. That's a totally different can of worms right there. And I think one of the things, especially like being a wrestler, if I had to like guess, like one of the things I always think about, especially when I'm watching people I really like that I know are grapplers that are really good wrestlers, I'm just like, watch for the knee, watch for the uppercut. Like I'm always like really like paranoid about that. Like you're gonna go in for a level change, and then they're gonna like have a knee waiting for you, and you knock yourself out. You pull a Curtis Blades job. And so like with you being kind of like having that grappler base, without giving away any of your secrets, like what are some of the things that you do to be mindful of that?
I mean, just honestly, man, I just try and stick to fundamentals. Like I know it sounds like super basic, but just chin tucked, hands high, you know, because those are the first things you forget about in exchanges, and whether it be grappling exchanges or striking exchanges, the day one stuff is the stuff that leaves first when the stress levels are high, you know? So just honestly, like, I know it's kind of a boring answer, but the same thing as every fighter, man. I just try just, you know, fundamentals, man. That's what like Coach Sonny, that's what he just drives into us, you know, hands high, chin tucked, hands high, just always reminding us, because as simple as it is, when, you know, shit hits the fan and you either get clips or you get in a wild exchange, that's the first thing that goes, you know? So,
right. No, that's really kind of refreshing to hear, because it's like, if you stick to the basics, like when shit hits the fan, it's like, oh yeah, like it's as simple as peanut butter and jelly, like
sure.
All those really technical, all those like, you know, just me imagining I'm in a position like that, I'd be like, all that shit would go out the window. And I'm sure, you know,
Sure.
with more and more experience, you know, you train for that type of stuff. But
yeah, I mean, heck, dude, you look at the best dudes in the world and the UFC and stuff, and it's really, whether you're watching, you know, a youth tournament with 10-year-olds or, you know, the champions of the world, most crazy knockouts happen because fundamentals slip, you know, even when it's the best dudes in the world, that's often what causes losses, you know?
Absolutely. Well, no, I don't know, and thank God for that. Me fighting would be it would be like Kimbo Slice against Dada 5000. It would not be a good fucking look for me.
Dude, you already know Leonardo DiCaprio, his form is trash. You're gonna sleep him, dude.
Oh, I'm gonna Kimura him. I am, dude. Like, I am going to fuck Leo up. I'm about as fat as Leo, so we can make that happen. Hopefully, we don't turn into Dada 5000 and Kimbo Slice, where we're about to have a heart attack looking at each other. That would be embarrassing.
Dude, what would you do? Like, straight up, what would you do if he hit you up tonight and was like, fucking bring it? He's like, I heard your podcast.
I'd fight him. I mean, I'd fucking fight him. I mean, why not? Like, what would I have to lose? Yeah. Like, even if he whipped my ass, right? Let's just say he did. And it's plausible. Let's say he whipped my ass. I could be the guy from the podcast, the guy's ass whipped by Leo DiCaprio, and get, you know, I don't know, maybe a few.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, that'd be great exposure for me. And I'd probably honestly have to sign a waiver. That's fine. Man, I'd sign it.
Yeah, I say my tactic for you, I say take him down, ground and pound. Because have you ever seen The Revenant? That bear whipped his ass on the ground.
Exactly. That's a great point. And who better? Yeah. You know, I would want to have like a little bit of a mini camp, and I'll go to your gym. I'll go to Nobody MMA, and we'll drill some of that stuff, man. Like, I'm gonna fuck him up, man. Like, it's gonna be, it's not gonna be pretty, man. Like, he's gonna die like how he did in Titanic all over again. It's not gonna be a good look. It's not gonna be a good look. He'll wish he could have found a piece of floating debris, but he's not getting on my fucking debris. I'm gonna fuck him up. And I want to shift gears a little bit. Okay. You have epic fight news, and we'd be remiss to not talk about it. And I want to give you that chance. Why don't you explain to the good people just kind of like what is on your plate right now? You got a big fight coming up. I want you to have that chance to announce who it is you're fighting and where.
So I was fortunate enough to get on Bellator 278 in Hawaii on Friday, April 22nd. It's 2 nights of fights, actually. They're back-to-back Bellator cards, same venue and everything, just basically a 2-night card, essentially. But I'm on the first night, and I believe it's like the very first fight of the first night, if I'm not mistaken. That's how it looks now. And I'm fighting Makoa Cooper. Yeah, man, super stoked. He's a monster opponent. His whole family's beasts, and I respect the hell out of him. The whole family. I've met them several times, and they're very good people and amazing fighters. So I heard this opportunity, and I was stoked, man, because, you know, when I say I want to fight the toughest people, I mean it. You know what I mean? I genuinely mean it. So, and he's a total beast, and I can't wait, man. I'm so stoked and thankful for the opportunity. And yeah, man, my one buddy used the phrase war party, and I love it. So I've been throwing that around a lot the past couple of weeks, that I'm just very, very lucky to be a part of this war party. And super stoked for the opportunity through and through, and I'm ready to fucking go, man.
I told your mother that I might need a Papa Zan for this fight. It's I'm just I don't know when people I know fight, I get like really sweaty and really nervous.
Yeah.
I start swearing a lot, and it's not a really good look. This guy that you're well before we like get into specifics, I just kind of I think it's important to frame it out a little bit and like set the stage for people who don't know a lot about you. So for the people who don't know, Blake is in the military, and he was stationed in Hawaii once upon a time. So he's like a known dude over there. Like he fought on the amateur scene. A lot of the guys that compete in Hawaii, they already know who he is. You know, fighting, it's a small world. Everyone kind of knows each other. And it's a homecoming of sorts for you. And that's got to be another added layer of excitement.
Oh, of course, man. Because like I was born and raised in Ohio, right? So nothing about me is actually Hawaiian. Of course, like clearly I'm white as shit. But in terms of like being a fighter, I grew up in Hawaii in terms of my fighting career, you know, from my very first fight until just this last one or two, I think weren't there, or at least I wasn't training in Hawaii since I moved. But yeah, man. So I love everyone out there, dude. That's super. I'm like very lucky to have the, you know, connections I do, and got all kinds of people that I'm super tight with that are still out there in the fight scene. And I love keeping up with them, and got a lot of good friends that, you know, always have my back and shout me out and stuff that I haven't been with since I moved, but you know, still got my back like we're brothers, man. So like I said, I'm not from there and don't even live there currently, but in terms of my fighting career, I grew up there as a fighter. So I love it, man. I love them.
One of the things that I love so much about Bellator, so I have like just like any promotion, none of them are perfect. They're all kind of like shitty in their own unique way. I certainly have my complaints about Bellator as well, but I love the promotion. And what I love so much about it is when they go to places like Honolulu, when they go to places like St. Louis, they build up that undercard with a lot of the local guys. I think that's so cool that they do that, and they give an opportunity. They share their platform with local fighters, and then on the main card, you know, they have their stars or whatever. They have the AJ McKees and whatnot. I just that's one of the reasons why I love Bellator so much, because it's like, oh great, like they're going to be in LA or they're going to be in San Diego or Miami. And guess what? That undercard is going to be filled with like their local fighters, and
exactly.
that's what's so unique about it. And I wish the UFC did a better job of that. I know that's like unique to Bellator, but that's what I think so special about it. Do you know anyone else? I'm so excited for you, because not only have you been like, you weren't handed this, like you've had to work in the trenches, you've had to fight throughout Hawaii, you've had to fight some tough guys and some jank promotions, I'm sure, maybe in fields, who knows? But the point is like, this was like years in the making, and you've had to like scratch and claw and like do all of this out of pocket to just have this sort of opportunity. And so I kind of wanted to pause and ask you, like, at what point did you decide that you were gonna like leave the amateur scene and go professional? Because you were on the AMI scene for a couple of years, but what clicked? Like, what made you decide like now was the time to make the pro debut?
I think so. Just mostly, like I said, just talking with my coaches and trusting the process, because, you know, if I would never went against them. You know what I'm saying? If they were like, hey, we don't think you're quite ready, we want to hold off, I would have been like, absolutely, you know, or vice versa. And I felt that I'm ready, and so did they. And it's a crazy game, man. You know, I don't ever want to be one of those dudes that's a coulda, woulda, shoulda guy. Like,
right.
Oh, I could have went pro, but then I got hurt because I waited so long, and you know what I mean? And like I said, I want to fight the toughest dudes, and you know, toughest dudes are going to be pro. You know, I would rather step up and fight in badass promotions against bad motherfuckers than take fights that deep inside I know are easier opponents for me, just so I have a record that looks pretty. I've never been that way, you know, kind of like you said, like in the trenches or whatever. I think, dude, to be completely honest, I kind of think that's why people kind of enjoy following me and rooting me on somewhat is because, most if they've been there since day one, they've watched me catch some fucking ass kickings. You know what I mean? And then they've seen vice versa. They've seen me win and come back from adversity and be in fights where it looks like my face fucking exploded, and it was just a total banger. So I think that's why I think people like that more than someone who handpicked opponents and is 20-0 and never fought anybody. Because I think at that point you're not even really a fighter. You're just an athlete who wants to look good. You're not a fighter, isn't super concerned what other people think about their record. Like, I want to be locked in there with monsters and monsters only.
You are a fighter's fighter, and I think you've proven that. You're not just a guy that's going to you're not going to be a crusher. Like, you're not going to do that. Like, you're going to take the toughest fights that you possibly can. And I think you showed that. The kickboxing fight's a good indicator of that, a willingness to get out of your comfort zone, doing something you're probably not incredibly comfortable doing, something that's outside of your wheelhouse, but you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'll go out there. Why not? I'll go out there against this dangerous guy. And we'll fuck each other up for free. And I think that's, I really like that. I like the willingness and the scrappiness to go out there. After the firepower fight, I was thinking to myself, I don't really ask Amies very often, hey, what's your timetable, bro? Because if you have a good coach, it's not your decision.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So that's why I don't really typically ask that question. If I do, I'm do you and your coach have a timetable in mind, right?
Right.
For you, I was after the firepower fight, I was thinking to myself, I was he might have one more Amy fight, but then I think he'll probably end up going up. And I can't think of a better card for you to make it a professional debut on. This is the mother of all cards. It's going to be insane. Bellator doesn't fight in Hawaii all that often. They're going to, that stadium or that arena is going to be filled. People are going to be filing in. You see, at all these random cities, people are going to be filing in slowly but surely. I bet you, I know they're on island time sometimes, but when it comes to violence, when it comes to fighting, they're going to want to see their people. And you're going to be fighting in front of a ton of people. And hopefully some people want to see you win, but you're fighting, the John F. Kennedy equivalent to fighting. When you think about where you're going to be fighting and then the stage and just kind of fighting under the bright lights, fuck, man. I think about it and it's unless you're locked in mentally and you're prepared for that, you can kind of almost psych yourself out, I would imagine, before you even make the walk. So it's I know you're a wrestler. I know wrestling's a big deal in Ohio. I know you've performed in front of a ton of people, but it's one thing to do that at a gymnasium at a high school level. It's quite another to do it at Bellator where anyone in the world can stream it. What is something that you're doing to just kind of yes, it's a special occasion, yes, but at the same time, this is a fight and I've been in a lot of fights before. So how do you kind of separate the two?
So I think you already touched on, just doing things to get out of my comfort zone already. A kickboxing fight, for example. I was with one of the top kickboxing coaches in all of California. Debo Fields was helping me a lot for that fight. And he was actually my corner man. And he's actually never even coached a kickboxer that lost a fight. I think he's every corner rather. He's never cornered anyone. He's an undefeated kickboxing coach. So that dude's a legend in the kickboxing world. So that was big to have him. And then just other things like that in terms of, for me personally, I like to think of things and just put a positive spin on it. Because basically I put it in scenarios in my head that there's no way I lose. In turn, not only literally the fight, but I'm saying just in life. So for me, this fight coming up, right? Way bigger stage than obviously I've ever fought on and competed anything in my life, right? Mm-hmm. And my my mindset going into it is like, dude, I've already won, man. Like I'm getting a fight in the best place in the fucking world in Hawaii. I love it. I'm getting to go back there where I started, making my pro debut out there in front of people that I love and that love me, and I'm healthy, and I'm getting a fight for friggin' Bellator at the Blaisdell Arena. Like, how the fuck are you gonna lose that? I don't care. I mean, the fight aside, the fact that that's something that has happened in my life, and I mean, it's military appreciation night too, so all the bases are gonna come out, and shit, dude, I've won already, man. I'm going out there to win the fight, obviously, but there is no losing. I'm fucking winning, man, and I'm nothing but thankful, and that's shit that it's gonna stick with me forever. So I'm winning no matter what.
I completely agree. Can you peel back the curtain a little bit? How did you know that? Like, you and I were talking in private before this all went down, and I was telling you, I was like, yo, like, you could totally get on this thing. Like, there are a lot of people that know you. You're like, yeah, I know. Like, it's certainly possible. And like, we and then that we just kind of left it at that. I saw that post about when they made the announcement, and then I joined in with all your other crew, and was spamming Scott Coker and Bellator and everyone asking them to put you on the card. When did you like hear from Bellator? Like, when did you like pick up smoke that like, yeah, who is this? Who is this dude? Like, we want him. Like, is Bellator putting together the undercard, or do they have like a Hawaiian promotion that's putting that together?
That's a great question. I know basically Sonny is the reason that my coach, Sonny Ramos, he's like legitimately the reason that I was able to even know how to get in contact. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I have no idea how to, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm down to fight wherever, whether it's, someone's backyard is like putting a fence up and they're like, yo, we want you to fight in this backyard. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I want that belt. But nah, man, Sonny definitely, he puts in hours on hours on hours of just sponsor work and getting us in promotions. So long story short, he got in contact with like Bellator people and people that he knows in Hawaii, and was just really, really in their ear about me and putting in good words for me and everything. And to be honest, just staying super, super persistent, because had he just hit him up once or twice, I know I would have never got on, because we've been like, oh, maybe, yeah, we might, we'll look for an opponent kind of thing. And then sure enough, he just stayed with it. And then they shot us a name, and I was like, of course I want that fight, man. Because he's like I said, like, when I say I want to be in there with the toughest fucking dudes, I mean it, man. So they threw that name. I'm like, there's no one better, dude, because I know Hawaii loves him, and I know I got a lot of people out there rooting for me, and that place is going to be rocking, and I can't fucking wait, dude.
Your opponent, that he's a scary dude. I've seen one of his fights before. He was on Fight Pass, and I want to say he was golly, I don't recall the promotion, but I saw him fight on Fight Pass, and he just sent this dude into the shadow realm. He's a tough dude, and he's got finishing power. I want to say, I don't have like the best memory, but like, I want to say I don't think he's ever dropped a fight. In every single one of his fights, he's found a finish, and he's also making his pro debut, if I'm not mistaken.
The one that you're talking about on Fight Pass, I believe, was his pro debut.
Okay. So he's 1-0. Okay.
Yes.
So you're going up against a guy who has proven on more than one occasion he can put guys away. I'm not going to ask you what your game plan is. I never asked that question. You fought guys like this before. Like, you have fought guys, maybe not quite at his particular level, because I want to be respectful of Cooper. He's a stud. I know who he is. But at the same time, this is a fight, and you fought guys like this before. And can you just comment, like, generally, when you're fighting against the guy that you know is strong, that you know possesses finishing power, like, do you have to approach that a guy like that a little bit differently compared to say somebody who's similar to you, like a really good grappler, or somebody who's like a jiu-jitsu boss, something like that?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, definitely have to because that's one of those things that it doesn't matter how the fight's going. If someone's got that, that finishing power, which he does, obviously, he knows, like I said, his whole family does. Yeah, man, just gotta obviously, be, like I said, technique, man, just basics rather, just the simple things, man. But at the end of the day, to win any fight against any fighter, you got to focus on your game plan. You can't be, if you go out there only worried about what the other guy's good at, you're never going to win an MMA fight ever. You're going to be frozen. And so it's, like I said, total monster and nothing but respect for the whole family. They're, like you said, the dude puts dudes in the shadow realm, but I mean, you can't be concerned with that. Otherwise, why would I go out there? I got a game plan that I've been working on, and I'm fucking stoked to execute it. Cause I know what I can do, and I'm ready to rock, man.
One of the things, I'm going to bet on you. Like I've already told everybody, I'm draining my 401k, draining all of my kids' college tuition.
Yeah,
we're going on.
Kids.
Yeah. We're tripling our money, dude. Like this is
Yeah.
What could go wrong? But looking at it, like one of the things I like so much about this, number one, I like the fact anytime I know that there's going to be a really, really high level grappler going up against somebody who I believe I don't claim to know a whole lot about Cooper, but I'm going to assume based off of the limited stuff that's out there on him. Yes, I understand he's a mixed martial artist, but I'm going to go ahead and assume he's probably a striker. I'm assuming that. I could be wrong, but let's just assume it's a striking base. I'm going to take the high-level grappler almost every single time because it's like, yeah, you're striking, that's all fine and well, but when that fight doesn't become a striking battle, like when you're mashed up, when it gets ugly, and when you're clinched up, or when you're down on the ground, all your boxing, all your haymakers, all those uppercuts, they ain't helping you.
No, man, it should be interesting because honestly, I'd say we're both very well-rounded because he's actually a great wrestler. He's like a Hawaii state champ wrestler.
Okay, well then there you go.
So I know they're all very good wrestlers too. So definitely, real heavy hands, real good wrestlers. So it'll be fun, man. That's the fights where everyone's kind of well-rounded. I think those are the ones that make the most fun. Where it's not focusing on any one thing, like, oh, he's good in this one area. It's I would say we're both very, very well-rounded fighters. So it's
I will say this though, he is kind of small for your weight class. He's 5'9". You're a big dude. You're like 6'2", 6'3". I'm going to presume it doesn't always translate into this. I'm going to presume that means you're going to have a reach advantage as well. You being the bigger dude, I know that is probably commonplace for you even at the welterweight class, but 5'9", you don't typically see guys that small in the welterweight division. Most of the time, those guys are lightweights. Just kind of like a random observation I had. Yeah. And does your size, I know that you can do a little bit of everything, but like because of your fighting style, is the size maybe not as big of a deal to you as it maybe would be to like a kickboxer type guy?
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, we obviously have super different body types. He's a little shorter, but he's jacked, and I'm like one of those fucking inflatable tube men. I'm like 6'3". So there's definitely pros and cons to each body type. Like I'm gonna have reach and length, and even in the grappling exchanges, I'm just longer limbs, skinnier, and then vice versa. The shorter jack dudes are going to have a better center of gravity. Their head positions naturally going to be a little easier to get, so we each just are going to have to work a little harder to, overcome those areas. But yeah, pros and cons to all kinds of body types,
Let's just Jorge Masvidal this guy right away. Flying knee, bam. I know that was, oh shit, I ruined the game plan. But yeah, right. I'm excited for this. I'm excited that you have the opportunity to take advantage of this platform. It's going to be something else. And I think you're a type of guy, like, you're going to excite people. Like the more and more people see you, they're gonna be like, oh wow, this guy is like a scrappy dude. Like I want to know more. And this is a perfect opportunity for that. And make them say yes one more time. Make them bring you back. And I know that's your plan, is to put on an exciting show. So you do get that call back. And when they they say something along the lines of, hey Blake, we need you again. And I just think that would be something else to see you on a Showtime slot one day.
Oh yeah, dude, that's the plan, man. Go out there and, like I said, just fight like I know I can, and just put on a show and throw down and just have fun, man. And that's one thing I've learned in my career so far, is the more fun I'm having, the better I do. You know, I used to kind of like put too much on fights, like in my own head, and I wouldn't perform nearly as good as when I just kind of remember, like, like I get to fight people in a cage legally for fun, and people like come watch. Like I live a pretty awesome life, you know, compared to a lot of people that aren't nearly as fortunate. So when I think of it in that, you know, that mind frame and aspect, shit just comes together, dude. So
and you're getting paid $5 million to fight this guy.
Yeah, dude. This one's 4.
Oh
but,
shit! Okay, that's just
yeah. I know, but
but I mean, the fact that you're actually getting paid, that's going to be a weird feeling.
Yeah, right.
I'm excited for you, man. It's gonna be an amazing fight. Make sure you guys tune in for it. You don't even need to have Showtime to watch this. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be streaming. You can watch it anywhere in the world for free. No excuses. Blake, before I let you go, I know you got to pay bills and stuff, and so I want to give you the opportunity to talk about any people that you need to talk about before we let you go.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, dude, all kinds of people that I'm gonna miss a ton, but all my sponsors. I actually put up a video this past week on my Instagram that gives them a shout out, and every one of them's tagged in there, and they truly are great companies. So if you got Instagram, whoever is listening, just feel free to reach out and look into that, because they've been amazing to me. And then the obvious stuff, like I said, my coach Sonny, Coach Madali, all my coaches, my teammates, like Cesar Gonzalez, Amini Kapapa, everyone, Terrence, all of them have been amazing. So just on top of that, and then on more of a personal level, my girlfriend Selena putting up with me being out, early in the morning at work, and then not getting home until super late at night because I'm out at the gym every night. And it's very much been the Blake show around here, and she's nothing but supportive and, A1 day one. So definitely she's been a big part of this, and that's awesome. But yeah, man, all my family, loved ones, I'm thankful for you, bro. It's a pretty awesome yes, sir.
Don't forget about the Rickies. Pretty and ugly Rickies. We didn't forget about you.
Both of them, man. Yeah.
I hit up one of them the other day and I was like, yo, are you the ugly one or the pretty one? Because I did, like, I hit him up, and then he was just like, the pretty one, I think. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's funny.
I think, yeah.
Oh, and don't forget to thank your mom. You have to thank your mom.
Oh, my mom, she's number one fan, man. She's friggin' seen me fight in Hawaii. She flew out to Tennessee. She's seen me fight in California, and now she's going back out to Hawaii. She's a trooper, man. She's always there.
So after you win, like, are you gonna celebrate? You're an island boy, so are you gonna like play the Island Boy song in the back? like what are you gonna do?
We're gonna go somewhere and drink too much.
Okay, well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
You're gonna party like Caesar did?
Yes.
That guy, he told me, like, getting wheeled through the San Diego airport, not really knowing where the fuck he was. All right.
Let me rephrase that. I know for a fact that I cannot hang with Caesar. That dude, he'll make some stuff, like he'll make like his own alcohol, right? And he's like, oh, this is mezcal, and he's like, try some of this, Poppy. And then I try it, and it's like just legitimately like rubbing alcohol with potpourri.
Like gasoline.
Oh, he's like, try some of this, Vato. Like, no, Caesar, no more, bro.
That's a really good Caesar, by the way. Your Caesar is kind of like freaky. But you're a little too good at that, actually.
Thank you.
Oh man, Caesar and his hooch. I think that's fantastic. Blake, I'm really looking forward to this fight, man. Like, what's going to be crazy is like it'll be like brunch time in Hawaii when you're fighting, and then it'll be like dark and cold and shit over here.
Yes.
So that's kind of depressing, but
a little bit, but
yeah, yay for the East Coast, I guess. Blake, you're an absolute legend. Can't wait to have you back, brother. We'll do it again soon.
Thank you for the opportunity, man. For real. Thank you.